New Zealanders have become among the biggest users of methamphetamine in the world.
And when you get up to about the kilos, you're talking millions.
And illicit drug use is costing the country over $1 billion a year.
It looks like a good gram of pea there, mate, doesn't it?
But new policing strategies are hitting drug offending hard.
Throw your hand behind your back!
From identifying organised networks...
Drugs and gangs go hand in hand.
...to breaking supply chains. The police are fighting the criminal underworld to stamp it out.
There's also gang patches over there.
Tonight in a drug bust special.
Police, search warrant. Down.
The biggest pea bust ever caught on camera.
This is big business. This is organised crime in New Zealand.
We go behind the police lines and get an insight into the workings of a meth mastermind.
Want something to look at, by my dick?
As his world comes crashing down. From the innocent victims.
They're defenceless. They have to allow for what their parents do and say, and they've been exposed to this crap.
To the spoils of crime.
They haven't paid taxes.
No.
They have not paid taxes.
And the damage caused by illicit drugs.
Scourge of society, you know, it's people that are hooked on it, you know, they become quite psychotic and violent, you know, we're talking the of this world.
This is Drug Bust. Counties Manukau is the largest police district in the country and at the forefront of the ongoing battle against illegal drugs.
Tackling amphetamine, an action plan. Welcome to New Zealand's war on drugs. How are we going to do it? We're going to crack down on precursors. We're going to break supply chains. Meth is the only illegal stimulant that's manufactured in New Zealand. The geographical isolation, we're a long way from anywhere else, means that it's the drug of choice at the moment from a Class A perspective. And finally, strengthen governance. Who is actually in control on the war on meth? This is not a police fight. This is a whole-of-government approach.
At the front line of the battle to cut off the supply chain is Detective Sergeant Malcolm Hassel.
I've been tasked to hold the portfolio basically for targeting drug offending in our patch. So it's something I take quite personally.
Malcolm's a veteran of the police and has seen firsthand the damage that pea can do to the community.
There's people out there that are addicted to meth. They can't afford to pay for it. They're turning to a life of crime. Children are being neglected. It's just such a devastating drug, and you know, we want to stop it, interrupt the organised gangs that are running it.
Tomorrow morning, Mel and his team are planning to bust a major meth cooking outfit. Based in a home police have been investigating after a tip-off from a member of the public.
Our informant has seen what they believe is a couple of bags of methamphetamine, quite large bags, a white powder or crystal substance, a couple of guys with large sums of cash thumbing through it. At times there was a person at the gate preventing other people from getting into the address.
It's only been days since the tip-off, but fearing the drugs may be shipped at any time, the detectives need to act fast. But this will be no ordinary bust. The target residence is in one of South Auckland's poshest streets.
We know that they're unemployed, they're paying $1,100 and something in weaker rent. You know, it all starts adding up that, hey, something's not right here. They're there doing something that they shouldn't be doing. AOS will do the entry, they will clear the address. Our investigation team, which is basically us, will then be cleared to move forward to the address. Any questions? Stay ready, stay close, get yourselves organised, so when the command's given to move, we are moving. These clean labs, they don't just work in isolation, they're part of a criminal organised gangs. There's gangs, the Black Power, the Mongrel Mob, the Hells Angels, the ruthless thugs that make their money dealing drugs.
5:30 the next morning, the convoy leaves the station. Police, armed defenders and clandestine laboratory teams all focused on one objective: getting to the scene and making the sting before the suspects are awake. 500 metres away from the target house, the Clan Lab officers are suiting up to protect themselves from lethal chemicals used to make methamphetamine.
You're talking about iodine, you know, it's carcinogenic, so linked to cancer. They're dealing with acids, caustics, stuff that real harmful to you if you get it on you. And, you know, so for some of the cowboys out there, you know, they'll be using an open flaming when you're evaporating stuff off. You know, it's just probably more good luck than good management that we haven't really had more go boom.
They are all ready, but intel indicates the targets may be armed, so it's deemed too dangerous for anyone to move yet, apart from the armed offenders squad. They now head off towards the target house. As they go in, Mel and his team listen to the comms at the command vehicle.
Police, search warrant. Down. 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 At what stage do you want the investigation to move forward, sir?
We'll just finish cleaning what we do now,
All right.
and then I guess you'll be guided by Clan Lab about where you can go.
Yep. So we've got the scene cleared and we're going to move forward.
The police arrive to find the property secured and the targets detained. It's a cold shock for these suspected criminals. Moments ago, the armed offenders squad pulled them from their beds. Now they're in the ice-cold decontamination shower, in the middle of the street, in full view of unsuspecting neighbours. The pair are believed to have been cooking up drugs here for months. But cramps are going to be the least of Grant's worries if Mel and his team find a meth lab. In 2011, the police dismantled 109 meth labs, and in 2012, the National Clan Lab team responded to 123 call-outs, with 94 P labs found. What is becoming more frightening is that these labs know no boundaries. They can be found in high or low socio-economic areas, urban or rural, in houses, apartments, motel rooms, sheds, or even motor vehicles. No matter where these labs are, one fact is certain, and that is that they are extremely dangerous. Something Detective Sergeant Al Simons knows all too well.
By the nature of these sorts of operations, the product and the chemicals they use are valuable in the criminal community, so they protect them. They take steps such as arming themselves. They use improvised explosive devices. They use anything to make sure that other people can't come and take them and that we can't come and take them.
It's the scary fact of modern-day policing.
Police, search warrant!
Time and time again, when police raid drug houses, they find weapons.
Machetes are a fairly common piece of equipment, but not many people keep them in their kitchen.
Drugs and firearms and offensive weapons sort of go hand in hand.
You've got a rotary mag that's for a 22 rifle, a patu, obviously traditional Māori weapon. Also located in this room, shotgun shells, and we've also located more shotgun shells in the kitchen.
It's a bolt-action firearm, and he's got live rounds of ammunition stored in the butt, which is something I haven't seen before, so that's quite scary.
But weapons aren't the only danger associated with shutting down these P labs. Every year there are fires caused by meth labs, sometimes by an explosion. Or worse still, the cooks try destroying evidence when the police come knocking on the door.
Quite often they attempt to set fire to or destroy the lab with dangerous consequences. The chemicals that they use are very volatile, very explosive, and there's been quite a number of occasions where the labs have exploded with disastrous results.
If a lab explodes, often it ends in serious burns for the cook.
Most of them aren't rocket scientists, and the consequences, they're probably testing and using the product themselves, so they're wired when they're doing this. The more they do it, the more wide they are, the more dangerous it becomes. If they don't do the process properly, they will also blow themselves up.
With the nature of these sorts of labs, the chemicals involved, there is a very big potential that things could go boom.
And while the cooks aren't rocket scientists, they are in demand.
This cook is a pretty hot commodity, and organised. They're a meal ticket, they're a money earner, and the gangs and organised crime look after them, and they work for organised crime.
It's quite often that you'll find a cook will come to a premises set up for the purpose of baking methamphetamine. He'll do what he has to do and then take product and leave.
For each kg of the drug made, meth cookers dump, flush or leave behind 5 to 6 kilograms of poisonous waste.
You're getting a reasonable chemical smell coming from here, so you can appreciate with the bigger ones it sort of smells like that. So that's just 2 ute loads from a medium-sized lab.
It's estimated methamphetamine damages cost the insurance industry between $5 and $10 million a year. Properties that have been used as P-labs have to be thoroughly cleaned and in some cases demolished completely. Next, the toxic nightmare of a meth house.
Extremely hazardous for their health. They're the first victims in drugs.
And its devastating effect on kids.
They're defenceless, they have to allow for what their parents do and say.
And a spotter plane yields results.
Put a lot of effort into it. Ought to be ruined by some police officer on a Wednesday morning.
Good evening, I'm Yana Katuralin, updating 3 News this hour. The Malaysian military denies it claimed the missing Boeing 777 plane was way off course. The Prime Minister gives Judith Collins a final warning after she admits more private dealings with her husband's company. And Hamilton cracks down on legal highs with a temporary suspension of shop licences. Join us on the Paul Henry Show at 10:40.
At Briscoe's, we always promise you'll never buy better. Well, here's the proof. If you find the same item at any other store for less, we'll beat that price on the spot. Now, you can't do better than that.
Briscoe's can never buy better. I would love to have such long-lasting hair colour, like coming from the hairdressers. But he has professional hair colours.
New Live Salon Permanent for long-lasting colours.
And the best thing, it's available at the retailer at an amazing price.
Live Salon Permanent, professional colour you can afford from Schwarzkopf.
Let's see what curiosity can do.
win for that man jumping in.
Whoa.
Today's forecast, we should reach a high of...
There.
This is a plug for our lighting sale.
At Lighting Plus, we've knocked 25% off the lot. All of it, everything, the whole kit and caboodle. So what are you waiting for?
It all comes to life at Lighting Plus.
The smart motion-activated Glade Sense and Spray. Nice. Designed to spray fragrance only when someone's in the room. Glade Sense and Spray, the smart choice of air freshener.
Let everyone know it all works out if everyone stays even.
I'm ready to give up the source.
A betrayal to the club.
But the cops know about the hit and run.
And unforgivable lies.
I don't think she was ever pregnant.
I can't help you no more.
Bring on Civil War.
Prove to me that you can be trusted.
You're a sick, twisted grandma is dead.
Brought to you by The Rock. Sons of Anarchy. Tonight on Free.
The Manurewa CIB has just raided a suspected P-lab in a posh South Auckland street. Due to the toxic chemicals used in the making of meth, everybody must be decontaminated. The second of 2 suspected meth cooks is being put through the freezing cold shower. She is understandably scared, but there's no getting away from taking the big chill. And to Mel's horror, there are 4 children living in the house.
4 kids, 2 teenagers will go through the decon and be interviewed. 2 children won't go through decon, but have to go to Starship.
It's not just a quick dip. It takes a good 5 minutes to wash out all the toxic chemicals. It's a devastating time for the younger kids, caught up in a nightmare they don't understand. With the parents being taken to the police station for questioning, the officers take important steps to ensure the well-being of the children. At least now, the kids are in a safe environment.
They're defenceless. They have to allow for what their parents do and say.
Want something to look at, bro, my dick?
And they've been exposed to this crap.
But for all this effort, so far no drugs have been found. The pressure is on for Mel and his team. It's one of the heartbreaking sights for members of the police. Last year, 606 children were found in P-labs and drug-dealing houses identified by police. This is a rise of 21% from previous years.
The children growing up in an environment where there's a clan lab, extremely hazardous for their health. They're the first victims in drugs, the first victims. They are.
Children found living in drug houses are likely to be inhaling and absorbing the same levels of methamphetamine as adult drug users.
To my mind, children in meth labs is straight up child abuse, full stop. It's as if you're beating them. I guess these people see it as part of their lives and they don't appreciate the risks to their children. And they're the victims as much as anybody else is.
Young children are particularly vulnerable, with their weaker immune systems and behaviours such as crawling and eating or sucking on anything left lying around. And it's a worrying problem for police, as time and time again, when a meth bust happens, there are children involved. As Detective Sergeant Malcolm Hassel discovered on another recent drug warrant.
Bathroom area, all right. When we did the search warrant here last time, she was quite heavily pregnant. I think she was 7 or 8 months pregnant. Obviously, it's not a suitable environment for a newborn baby to be in here. They're smoking cannabis. He's admitted today that just before we got here, he was smoking methamphetamine. There's still obviously a lot of people coming here, and we do believe that they are still selling meth from the address. So there's all sorts of people coming and going at all times of the day and night. So not an environment for any child, let alone a newborn baby.
But it's not just the drugs that are harmful. In many houses where drugs are sold or manufactured, the occupants live in harmful conditions.
I'm in the process of moving, so nothing's really tidy, as you can see. Like I've got to do loads to the dump. I've got a busy guy doing other crap at the moment, so I don't know what else to say, bro. Go and get mummy to wipe your hands.
And of course, while most parents are concerned about leaving a glass within reach of a young child, drug dealers couldn't care less and leave weapons lying around.
Typical room, apart from that being found in that drawer.
Ammunition for shotguns? Shotgun cartridges and a pistol, a firearm in the house, and you've got this baby crawling around. It's not really that funny at all.
You're not really fulfilling your obligations as a parent if you have a child in a meth lab.
But it's not just methamphetamine that is damaging our communities. After alcohol, cannabis is still our #1 drug of choice.
Cannabis is a major problem in New Zealand. It's a cause of a number of crimes, and I don't think it's something that we can just discount lightly.
In 2012, cannabis cost the country $430 million. And a recent United Nations report put New Zealanders as the 3rd highest cannabis users in the world.
We have a large number of people using cannabis, obviously. Not only is it illegal, but it also causes a lot of harm to the New Zealand communities. When you look at the figures of hospital admissions due to cannabis-related illnesses, recent studies that talk about the link between cannabis, psychosis, and then mental and behavioural problems, these are issues for all New Zealand that we have to look at addressing, and our part in the police is to try and stop the availability of cannabis across New Zealand.
While police spend many hours hitting tinny and grow houses,
C10, on place. Looks like we're going to have a good result today.
once a year they mount an air and land operation to eradicate cannabis plants before they make their way to the streets for sale.
So easily grown, and New Zealand's climate for it makes it easy to grow in New Zealand. It simply is spreading some seeds, letting the plants mature, and then if you know what you're doing with them, you can get the best yield out of those plants. So anybody can really do it if they have the source for the seeds in the first place.
From the air, a circling spotter plane has located a crop and is guiding officers into its location.
And gateway on your left if you can get them there. Right there.
The plants are hidden in the middle of dense blackberry bushes, making for a prickly recovery job. But officers soon discover what they are looking for: a number of mature cannabis plants ready for harvesting.
Karen, you happy if I chop them out?
Yeah, cut it on.
Every plant is photographed and cut down, ready to be destroyed at a later date.
Put a lot of effort into it. Ought to be run by some police officer on Wednesday morning.
All up, police bring out 14 cannabis plants of various sizes that could have a street value of around $20,000, but could see the grower facing up to 8 years behind bars. While the local animals show an interest in the plants, police want to find the grower. Next, where did all these toys come from?
Drug money.
And where are they going?
They haven't paid taxes. No. They have not paid taxes.
And could this be the green-fingered grower?
Is it yours? Spray.
4 murders in the same room over a 3-month period.
There is something going on in that motel room.
No, you are. All new CSI, Thursday on 3.
Your final wish has been granted.
Oh, hey, Red. M&M's. Can't resist them.
Hey, Gilligan, couldn't have wished for a boat, huh?
Wicked Man. Powerball is at $5 million. So get your ticket today.
All right, guys, one thing you haven't thought about. You've got 3 kids under 3, but when they turn 5, you're throwing a birthday party. Are you prepared for the 5-year-old party?
No.
Have you thought about a bouncy castle?
Oh, they'll do that on my guts. It's cheaper.
Take out this or any great TSB Bank home loan rate before the 31st of March. You could be one of 2 people who win their home loan interest-free for a whole year. So you'll have some extra money to spend on something you really want. Putting you first. It's just a better way to bank.
At Harvey Norman, you get good prices, but I think the finance options available are really great as well.
Go Harvey Norman for a massive 50 months interest-free store-wide. 50 months interest-free on TVs, audio, whiteware, cookware and floor care. 50 months interest-free on laptops, desktops, tablets, smartphones, printers and DSLR cameras. 50 months interest-free on lounge suites, sofa beds, recliners, dining and occasional furniture. 50 months interest-free on mattresses, sleep sets, bedroom furniture, kids' beds and Manchester. Hurry, ends Monday.
Before you know it, you've paid it.
G'day, it's Pete and Andy here at Hirepool. We recommend Hirepool gear for any job, big or small.
Hire anything from Hirepool and you could win one of 12 utes for a year stuffed full of gear for you to keep and lots more.
Hirepool. Recommended? I reckon.
Ever wondered how many people have keys to your home? How about the people who lived there before you? Their cleaner, son, and the lady who fed their cat? Right now with AA Insurance, when you take out a new home policy, plus either a new car or contents policy, we'll get your front and back door locks changed for free. So the only one with a key to your home is you. Visit aainsurance.co.nz or call 0800 AA Insure today. Hurry, stocks are limited. Terms and conditions apply.
Mate. Seriously.
Right.
You're 62.
Yeah.
You got 3 kids under 3.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Stop what?
Stop that.
That's the only thing I've got left, mate, at my age. That in the library.
Spark's gone, Simon.
You sure?
Yeah, time for a replacement.
It's a bit drastic, isn't it?
And to be honest, your gearbox is looking a bit tired.
Nah, I reckon I'd get a few more trips around the block.
Think you could make it to the 4 square?
And back.
Righto, you pick me up a sandwich while I'm filling out the paperwork.
Good evening. On the Paul Henry Show tonight, we combine 9 and 10 with Shakespeare in the Park. Plus, interest rates are almost certainly going up tomorrow. We'll tell you exactly what that means for you. See you tonight at 10:40.
In a posh street of South Auckland, police have raided a suspected meth house with organised crime connections. The home's occupants have been busted, blasted and taken away. Leaving an armed guard for protection from any irate gang members, the ESR Clan Lab and CIB team move in.
As we move through and start clearing certain areas, then the inquiry team can come in behind us.
Nothing? Okay. Haven't found anything of note yet. Of evidential value anyway.
What they do find is a large pimped out pad, way beyond the means of the tenants.
Wow, when you're paying $1,100 a week on a rental accommodation without a job and benefit, that's a little luck.
Outside, the police hit the jackpot. They find a mobile lab, packed up inside a late model Mercedes van.
These types of things are pretty indicative of the manufacturing process. You know, you've got a 2-layered liquid, other items in here that can all be used during the manufacturing process. I know it's a mobile kit basically. You know, they can pretty much go anywhere they want with all this stuff and do a cook overnight if they want to check into a motel, hotel or another residential address or anywhere basically. So yeah, it's quite a good find.
They could be working in an operation where they have it packed up, ready to go. They drive it from A to B, store it somewhere else. When they're going to bake, they bring it out, set it up, use it, pack it up, and away it goes again. But of course, all the toxic vapours, fumes, all of the nasties go with that equipment, and it gets put into a bedroom or a garage. Other people are in contact with it, and that's how you start getting into problems.
As they search through the boxes of lab equipment, the Clan Lab team find another clue that grants a meth cook. It's pseudoephedrine, a Class C controlled drug that's the key ingredient used to make pee. A kilogram of pseudoephedrine, once cooked, can yield meth with a street value of around $200,000.
It's a scourge of society, you know. It's people that are hooked on it, you know, they become quite psychotic and violent. That's the type of society that we're talking about, that are on the gear, that are manufacturing it. So yeah, it's quite a good find.
It's becoming obvious what's funded all the toys around this luxury mansion.
It's not the normal people that live in this area, but if you look at them, they've got the flash cars, they're able to afford a very flash rent in a very flash area. Drug money.
Plasma TVs, laptops, high-tech gadgets, 20 motorbikes and $500,000 worth of cars. All bought with money accumulated through drug offending.
Take a key, and if your one fits, it's your car. You get it? Oh, rad. Search warrant clearly states, you know, you can break into any box, receptacle, or anything by force if necessary, so that covers us. Yeah.
Despite all the noise, no methamphetamine. But the police will still seize all the vehicles under the Criminal Proceeds Recovery Act, along with a number of other items located in the garage.
These people, they do not work. Something that's worth over $500, let's take it.
$17,000 entertainment system in there still in its boxes, you know, it hasn't even been opened yet. They've got to have to prove how they managed to afford that.
They haven't paid taxes.
No, yeah.
They have not paid taxes.
But they are not here for tax evasion. The police will need to find methamphetamine if they wish to shut down this operation for good. Criminals and organised crime have been hit where it hurts as a result of the Criminal Proceeds Recovery Act.
These people are in it for the money, for the greed, and if we attack the money and the assets, that's where we get results, and that's where we shut down criminal networks.
Since the Act came into effect in December 2009, 322 assets worth an estimated $26 million have been forfeited, and around $21 million taken from drug offenders. Items forfeited include boats, cars, motorbikes, money, residential and lifestyle blocks.
Probably about 10 laptops. So, seize them, and then depending on what the result is and if they get found guilty, then we can actually permanently seize them from them and try and recoup some of the money that's been used for that criminal activity by selling them off.
It's been an important tool to curb any appeal the drug trade may hold. When caught, as well as losing their freedom, their ill-gotten gains are no longer waiting for them when they are released from prison. But some people are determined to continue their illegal adventures. And out on a rural property, officers have just located a number of cannabis plants. And now they want to know who the green-fingered grower is.
Oh yeah.
Hi.
How many others in the house?
Me and Molly's
Do you want to get her out? Oh yeah. Do you want to come outside? Anyone else in the house? Can you just wait outside for us, or we'll tell you what's going on?
The officer rounds up the occupants of a nearby house for questioning.
Do you know of any cannabis plants that are here? No? There's a couple just at the back of the shed here as well, eh? Do you know whose those are? These are yours, bro. How old are the plants? These are the same, planted at the same time? What about these ones? Been growing well with the water.
Yeah.
You tell me, bro. Hey? You tell me.
While the man has plenty of knowledge about the cannabis, he's claiming it's not his. So the police go and collect the last of the plants.
At least you're still smiling, bro.
Hey? But he won't be smiling if the police can prove the plants are in fact his.
So you reckon this is not yours, eh?
This could be, like, it's only from there to the bloody road.
Oh,
to
yeah,
any
but they would...
horse trick or pig farm or...
Yeah, but who tends to the pigs? Who's this?
The power line.
Who does the pigs?
Oh, they're wild. They just get fed up by the car.
The pigs don't look too wild, and neither do the carefully manicured cannabis plants growing next to the pig pens.
They're nice plants, really nice. I think they've been in a while. Certainly been well looked after.
The officers are careful to find each and every plant.
Okay, so...
While the man may not be claiming the crop, he is interested in digging for a little knowledge of his own from the officers.
How did you find?
How did I find him?
How did you find him?
We know.
Dog.
We do know, mate.
Good at your job, eh?
No.
Telepathic, mate.
Telepathic.
Have a good day.
All right, then. So, I'll have a look at your stuff in the computer and I'll just be getting back to you, okay? Either way.
I got no.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Sweet as. Thanks for your cooperation, eh?
With the plants heading for incineration, further investigation will be needed to find the grower. Next, they find the cash, but could this be the stash?
It's 26 grams. That's jackpot.
And nobody's talking after a car ramming.
What's going on? Nothing. Don't give me that.
Asking the tough questions.
Am they right to be paranoid about Molotov cocktails?
Yeah, well.
Asking the right questions.
Why does the record company make up all of that?
Giving it away for free.
Yeah.
You worry about his age?
How is the air out there?
Third degree. Returns soon.
Hey, Tim, show Joel how everything you touch turns into Skittles.
That's awesome.
Touch the rainbow. Taste the rainbow.
Now you can get a super fast broadband package that suits your place. A home phone if you want it, and TV with up to 150 channels.
It's called Vodafone Red Home.
Vodafone Red Home, your ultimate home package.
Yeah, Chipper.
You want your ball back?
Yeah, thanks, bud. Yeah, okay, mate.
Good times start with KFC's new Super Rugby Bucket. 10 pieces of chicken coated in the Colonel's 11 secret herbs and spices, plus any 3 large sides for just $30.
Clever wee bloke, isn't he? Yeah, he must be a halfback.
This person's just clicked to your website. And now they've gone. Wouldn't you like to know why? Well, we at Zeal can tell you. And provide the tools to convert your visitors into customers. Zeal, New Zealand's #1 web developer.
Enjoy! Christchurch. Get between Auckland and Christchurch from just $55 each way. Hurry, New Zealand on sale now. Offer ends midnight tonight. For this and more deals every day, visit airnewzealand.co.nz.
I don't wake up because of an alarm.
I don't help because I have to.
I don't care because I'm told I should.
And I don't wear a uniform to fit in. I do it
because it's my purpose.
G'day, it's Pete and Andy here at Hirepool. We recommend Hirepool gear for any job, big or small.
Hire anything from Hirepool and you could win one of 12 utes for a year stuffed full of gear for you to keep and lots more.
Hirepool. Recommended? I reckon.
Perhaps if you told Jack they were magic, he'd climb into those broad beans. Getting the kids to eat their high-vitamin veggies is a noble pursuit. But when man's best friend loses loyalty and bean hoarding season begins, maybe it's time to hunt down an alternative form of B vitamins, iron and zinc. Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell a pork burger. Insist on goodness. Insist on 100% New Zealand pork.
You know what I did?
What?
I got life insurance online.
Really?
It took seconds. 3 easy steps, and I was comparing New Zealand's best insurers. I did it in my own time, with no pushy sales reps.
For a free quote, insureme.co.nz. Quote, compare, save.
Welcome to the Man Manual. Failure to look after man's armpits may lead to malfunction. Maintain them properly using Dove Men Plus Care Antiperspirant. It's tough on sweat and protects skin with a quarter moisturizer technology. Tough on sweat, not on skin.
Here's a team with a dream.
Really good feeling about this, man.
And here's a nation of sitting ducks.
Very trendy.
Lovely.
Oh yes, please. I'll have a helping of that.
All new Cadbury Dream Factory. Thursday on 3.
The Manurewa CIB and Tactical Crime Unit have raided a suspected P-Lab.
They're able to afford a very flash rent in a very flash area. Drug money.
So far, they have found a mobile lab and pseudoephedrine, but no meth. But suddenly, in one of the bedrooms, this could be pay dirt.
Pull it out. Yeah, that's quite a lot. Box was underneath the mattress, a large amount of white substance in the bag there, and next to it's actually a set of scales.
It's methamphetamine, and this could be the mother lode.
Right, so it's 26 grams. Good find. It's one of those weeks, Steve.
How much was it?
24 grams.
24 grams of it.
Oh, that's jackpot. Feel that?
Yeah.
Officers soon find a second bag of meth, plus a smaller point bag ready for sale.
There's probably a whole gram, so that's just $1,000 just like that.
Along with the drugs, the police also find cash, and a lot of it, both in Kiwi and Australian denominations.
Oh, there's some more cash here too. Oh, ooh.
Oh, you got some more in there, wallet? Some more money?
Yeah.
Here's $300.
So much money.
This is a great find.
Yeah. So more again. 685.
So that's a total of 3,290 in that pot.
All up, the police find over $4,000 cash lying around the room. But the white crystals are worth a whole lot more.
Got about 42 grams of crystal substance in total. It's got a value of a little bit over $40,000 on the street for that small amount there. So it's obviously very, fairly valuable.
Possession of meth for supply carries a maximum sentence of life behind bars. And that's a big win against the gangs.
Very happy that we've found a lab. They have to go out and try and find more people who can cook, more equipment, more places to do it. But probably most importantly now is we've got 2 kids, 2 young children out of that environment, which obviously they would have been exposed to a myriad of chemicals, and they're in danger.
Tests on the children's hair later revealed they had been exposed to toxic chemicals for the previous 8 months. A criminal underbelly is alive and well in New Zealand. The $1.5 billion methamphetamine industry has enabled crime kingpins to spread their influences, and it's a major concern to the police.
Despite what you see on TV of the gang saying we've turned another leaf, we're not a gang, we're a club, that's a front. In the background, they're into organised crime. They want to keep a low profile, so we aren't out getting them.
The war on organised crime in New Zealand is a real one, and gangs are at the heart of it.
I think what people don't understand is that the whole drug scene here and practically everywhere in the country is the bread and butter for the gangs as well. So they make their money through the drugs that are sold here and most other places in New Zealand. And they're very territorial.
The gangs are not just operating in New Zealand's big cities. They are present in most towns across the country. These gangs are becoming more organised, and there is evidence that they are working together, as police found out when executing warrants for an operation focusing on one local gang's drug dealings.
He's a patched mongrel mob man. He's in possession of some cannabis and some counterfeit cash.
The 3-month operation was a great success, with 20 arrests made, which put a real dent in the availability of P on South Auckland streets.
Meth, cannabis, stolen property recovered, a real intelligence link between the Black Power and the mongrel mob, which shows us that the gangs are working together to supply meth to people in New Zealand.
Time and time again, police intelligence suggests that methamphetamine and cannabis houses are connected to organised crime.
Gang patches over there, so again it's consistent with the information given to me that the people selling the cannabis were patched gang members.
We've got a t-shirt here. We've also got their prized possession out the back, which is their leather vest, which normally they only wear either when they're walking or they're riding motorbikes. They're not allowed to wear them normally when they're in cars. They object to that.
While the gangs may have strict rules within the group, they are more than happy to break society's laws. For them, it's all about acquiring ownership of the source, no matter how big or small the production is. As for them, the source is money, and money is power.
You appreciate the money involved, organised crime get involved.
But you still get people who believe selling drugs is an easy way to make a tax-free buck.
Occasionally people grow small amounts of cannabis, but in most cases, even then, the word gets around and someone will come knocking and want their cut.
But they better watch out, as unbeknown to them, they always end up paying in some way.
Well, a cursory search of the back room is showing that there's probably 20 to 25 plants.
The Manurewa Tactical Crime Unit found one such operation and was surprised to find who was the mastermind behind it all.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hello. Are you?
Yep.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Oss from the Manurewa Police.
That's all you know, most of my family, it's all mine.
All right. Sweetest, okay. Here's a lady who's fairly intelligent, and she's growing a large-scale cannabis and selling it. Now, I don't know if the gangs are involved with her or not. I suspect not. But if they did find out she's in their territory, they will come and tax her, take what they want, take their cut. People get bashed and seriously injured, you know. So next minute our crime cars are all tied up with serious assaults and bashings and that sort of thing. So all those peripheral things are all tied up with the drugs.
As the war on drugs continues, international syndicates, especially from Asia, are also targeting New Zealand. Although Asians commit only 2% of crime here, they now commit 80% of drug importations. While the police are hitting organised criminals where it hurts, leading to a drop in crime, most weekends are spent dealing with incidents that are the result of alcohol and drug abuse. And Papakura Constable Holly Given and her partner are responding to a call of just this nature.
We're just on our way to a disorder, a 1K driver ramming his neighbour's car.
They arrive to find groups from neighbouring houses loitering outside the carport.
What's going on, guys? What's going on? Nothing. Don't give me that. What's going on?
Where are you going to? Where are you going to?
Come here, man. We need to talk to you. Come here.
The officers need to get to the bottom of what's happened, but nobody is willing to cooperate.
Who's been driving this car? It's not the call we got, so don't lie to us.
No, there's no ramming me.
Police start taking statements from both sides of the fence when a strong smell is noticed wafting from one of the houses.
I believe a couple of the officers have smelt cannabis coming from what they suspect to be inside that property. So Sergeant and 2 officers have just gone in to have a look.
So what cannabis have you guys got in the house?
Utensils.
Just utensils?
While the occupants are saying there are only utensils and no drugs, police begin to search the house under the Misuse of Drugs Act.
It's just a ashtray. Cigarette ashtray.
It isn't long before the male occupant of the house leads the police to his stash.
Just utensils, no cannabis in here at all. It's just the utensils, pipe, a couple of spider knives, some tins to hold everything, I guess, some papers. That's about it.
But where there are utensils, there are often drugs, and the police want to find them. Next, the search for drugs continues, and the police clean up the streets.
So what you guys got to do is either clean all this rubbish, or do you want to go to the cells, right?
I'm sorry you're upset with me. We need to find a way to move past this, because for me, there's just no fun in it unless you're there.
We got biological attack.
Don't hang up. I need your help.
The Blacklist, 8:30 Sunday on 3.
The next great drive begins with amazing ways to connect and sports performance with outstanding fuel economy. All new Mazda 3. It's everything your next great drive should be.
This Thursday only, you'll find great new season deals across the store, like 30% off women's, men's and children's clothing, half-price women's sleepwear, 20% off women's lingerie, 30 to 50% off bedding towels and homeware, and nursery furniture and accessories are half price. Plus, pay by Farmers Finance card to receive double Farmers Club points. This Thursday only, rush in for great new season deals. Only at Farmers, your department store. Exclusions, terms and conditions apply.
Frizz used to rule my life. Then my stylist clued me into a salon powerful frizz control. New Tresemme Keratin Smooth. Fights frizz for up to 48 hours. So now I rule my hair.
Tresemme, professional, affordable.
With a 2 Degrees Share Everything plan, you get unlimited calls and texts to Australia and New Zealand, plus loads of data from just $69 a month. Means you can help yourself day and night. But why hog it all? You can now share your unlimited buffet with your family. Sharon, Nate, Lucy, tuck in. Nice. What does this cost? Just another $20 a month each. Share Everything plans from 2 Degrees. Share unlimited calls, texts, and loads of data with up to 3 other people. Hurry, join today.
Oh, I think I've overdone it on the data.
Buy any Godfrey Hirst or Feltex carpet from any Flooring Foundation store. And you could win one of 5 grocery packs worth $10,000 each. Offer ends 31st of March.
In those moments when more is expected of you, when you expect more from yourself, you need more from your antiperspirant. That's why Rexona created Rexona Clinical Protection. It's the strongest antiperspirant deodorant in New Zealand. Nothing is stronger, so you can do more. Rexona Clinical Protection. Nothing is stronger.
One travel booking site is unmatched in separating out your best flight choices, helping you to make clear comparisons and land the airfare you really want. It's Webjet.
Harvey Norman's just got everything under one roof.
At Harvey Norman, we've got all the latest technology.
Don't miss Harvey Norman's huge cooking expo on now. See the world's leading brands and latest cooking technology on display. And talk to the experts about finding the right cooking solution for you. Built-in ovens, freestanding ovens, cooktops, range hoods, complete kitchen packs and more. Plus, buy now and get a massive 50 months interest-free. Harvey Norman's huge cooking expo on now.
When you find a solution for someone and they get the right product, I mean, that's the best feeling.
G'day, it's Pete and Andy here at Hirepool. We recommend Hirepool gear for any job, big or small.
Hire anything from Hirepool and you could win one of 12 utes for a year stuffed full of gear for you to keep and lots more.
Hirepool. Recommended? I reckon.
A betrayal to the club.
The cops know about the head run.
And unforgivable lies.
I don't think she was ever pregnant.
Bring on civil war.
You're a sick, twisted...
Sons of Anarchy. Next on 3.
In Papakura, while attending a disturbance, police have noticed the smell of cannabis coming from a house. Now they've located some drug utensils.
No cannabis in here at all. It's just the utensils, pipe.
A further search has revealed no drugs, but possession of utensils is a crime, which carries a maximum sentence of 1 year. The male occupant is arrested and taken back to the station, where Constable Given assesses the suspect's rather large collection of paraphernalia for smoking cannabis.
So it's just a selection of pipes, utensils, a blade for scraping his oil, and he uses these knives to spot that oil.
He's admitted that all the stuff that we found at the house was his and it was for personal use.
While these small drug violations take up many police hours, there is also a direct link between drugs and crime. In the UK, approximately 2/3 of all burglaries and robberies are drug-related. Cannabis and methamphetamine cause the greatest harm, and for frontline officers, the problem is not going away.
I'm all right, Mum. I'm sorry, Mum. I love you, Mum.
Drug users are getting younger, and how they maintain their habit is becoming a major concern to the police.
He's breaking into the club.
How did you say that he was here?
This young man was caught breaking into a building and was suspected of a number of burglaries.
How old is he? How old is he?
16.
Well, then you need to calm down because you're going to have to come back to the police station with him. So calm down. Calm down.
Okay.
Well, this young man, as soon as we've spoken to him, he's told us that he smokes drugs and he hasn't got a job. He's 16 years old, and so to fund his drug habit, he breaks into homes and like the tennis courts there with his main motivation is to get hot commodity items like mobile phones, laptops, TVs, iPods, MP3 players, all those sort of things, and they just take them to the drug houses which accept them as payment for the drugs. So you don't even need cash to buy drugs, and this is the reason why we're cracking down on drug houses, because they don't do anything positive for the community. They just make victims out of everybody.
A more worrying statistic for police is that the average age for youth starting to dabble in drugs is 14. And to fund this habit, they are more than likely to start the slippery slope towards crime.
So you're under arrest for assault. Put your hands behind.
For what?
This young man was arrested for suspected assault on a shopkeeper. On the ride to the lockup, he revealed his drug history.
So how did you get into meth?
Oh, this my mates influenced me really big.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Did you...
Told me that it was a cool thing.
Yeah? Did you commit crime?
Yeah, babe.
To what, to fund it or because you were on it?
Nah, just because I was on it and I felt like doing something.
So how old were you when you first started trying P?
First tried P, 14.
14?
Yeah.
13, 14, 15-year-olds today aren't 13, 14, 15-year-olds of my generation, you know. I mean, when I was 13 and 14, I wouldn't have known what a cannabis tinny looked like, let alone smoke it and go and buy it or even know how to buy it. These kids, they all do, you know. And it's slowly infiltrating the schools as well.
You go into these tinny houses, they're families, there's kids involved there,
They've been exposed to the underbelly of the world, coming knocking on their door. This is big business. This is organised crime in New Zealand. And that leads to everything else as well. There's a link from your low-level cannabis through to just about every sort of crime in New Zealand.
And this is why the police are trying to put a stop to any potential drug problems before they begin.
It's just Sergeant Matt Boy's come across a group of young fellas sitting in the underground car park. They've been having a bit of a sesh, smoking cannabis, drinking alcohol as well.
They arrive to find their sergeant with a group of lads looking a little sheepish.
I just come around and smell cannabis here, and there's a bong up in the up top there.
No, yep.
This one here's the guy that's claiming ownership to it, and apparently there is a foil around the corner, so there's a car around there that we have to search as well.
Another chat to you, bro. Come this way.
With the haze settled, Leon takes one of the boys off for a chat.
What's been happening tonight? Having a few. You? Hey, my boss just said that you own up sort of to that bong that's sitting up top of you. Is that yours? Yeah. Have you got any more cannabis on you? No. No? So do you guys always come down here and smoke? No. And drink? Hey? What's this time? Are you guys heading off to the pub afterwards? Yeah.
It's another problem facing police today. Young adults getting high before hitting the clubs. And it often leads to trouble later in the evening.
Is there anything else on you? No. No? No more drugs?
A quick search confirms no drugs. Just an empty foil.
There's nothing in that foil, eh?
No, it's all empty.
With two of the boys admitting to smoking cannabis, it's decided a little cleaning up is in order.
I want to give you two a warning for smoking cannabis, okay? Yeah, possessing cannabis, yep. Give you guys a warning, okay? So what you guys got to do is you got to clean all this stuff up, all this rubbish. I don't care. Or do you want to go to the cells, okay? Clean all your rubbish up. The alcohol is staying with us. This is an alcohol ban area, okay? So take the rubbish and get rid of it. So come on, let's go, keep going. I was just a group of young guys coming in here, have a few drinks, and they had a bit of a smoke before they go out to the clubs in Manukau. Well, they've been pretty straight up with us, so we decided to just give them a warning, and that'll be the end of it. And then go on.
Two members of the group received warnings for possession of cannabis. The male occupant of the house where the utensils were found was charged with possession of a needle or syringe for cannabis. He was sentenced to 40 hours community service. No charges were laid in relation to the cannabis found on a rural property. The male occupant of the Big P bust was charged with manufacturing methamphetamine, possession of equipment with intent to manufacture meth, possession of meth for supply. He was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment and $15,000 reparation. His partner was charged with allowing a premises to be used for methamphetamine. She received 8 months home detention and $15,000 reparation. It's been 4 years since the government brought in the methamphetamine control strategy, and the police believe they are hitting the criminal networks hard and putting a dent in the local drug trade.
I think we're moving forward. We're winning. We'll knock off a couple of tinny houses, a couple of suppliers. All of a sudden, people are, there's comments coming out. It's harder to find drugs. It's harder to get them. Problem is, you cut the head off one beast, another head grows.
While the number of people using meth and the discovery of P-labs has decreased in the last 3 years, it's still too high for the police, and it's having a negative impact on communities. But nobody is about to stop and give the criminal underworld an inch.
We haven't been able to stop them from selling drugs to our community. We haven't been able to stop them, so that's frustrating. But we keep doing it, and we'll do it until we stop them.
It's a big money business, and they're making a lot of money off a lot of people in that community, not just poor people, but they're laughing at us, laughing at our society. They're taking money. These people can do these things for some time. They get away with it for a while, but eventually we're going to come knocking, and they'll get the rude awakening in the door, and the long arm of the law will reach out and grab them.